let's talk about TNA Rebellion. Happened just now, or sort of, it depends when you watch this video. Okay, I've personally just watched it. I can't really give it a review if I've not watched it. I've written the matches down there to make sure I remember a few bits and bobs. The first match was the X Division Championship, which was retained by Moose in a very weird ending. So the idea is you're supposed to grab the title and then have both feet hit the floor. Right, but then as Leon Slater was falling, Moose speared him. So where did his feet end up then? And how did Moose have his... I don't understand it. I really don't. But he's apparently still a champion, yeah. Even though he had Alicia Edwards trying to climb for him. So would she have passed him the title and then he had his feet on the floor? Okay, this is my first time I've seen this kind of match. And it's just very, very confusing. It was very like high-paced, backwards and forwards and a lot of moves and stuff like that. But I can understand how tiring it would be trying to use obviously your hands each time to try and walk across. Well, I say walk across, climb across. You had AJ Francis trying to help Casey Navarro. That didn't really help because he got speared by Moose. But my favourite part of the match though was Leon Slater going for his Swanton 450 off the top of the actual, what's it called? Like a trestle, I don't know. But I do actually like this match and it probably is worth watching. It's my first one I've seen, but I don't think it's the best one they've ever had. Then we had the fatal four-way match for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, which was Ash and Heather by Elegance retaining after they went for like this massive like superplex powerbomb thing, but Maggie Lee held onto Ash's leg, which means she didn't get suplexed or moved into her, so she could do her Brock bomb, I think it's called. I'm still trying to learn these things. It's basically a swanton, and she picked up the pinfall there. Just a normal fatal four-way match where, you know, if the champions are heels, they're probably going to win by some, you know, miraculous, Weasley, miracle-y way. You know how it works. Wasn't a terrible match, just like what you expected, you know, back and forth, people getting involved all the time, obviously people countering moves, you know how it basically is. So, I predicted these two matches correctly, and then when I was doing my prediction video, I started changing my mind on everything, so I didn't even know if I predicted correct anymore. Some of them I do. Then we had a six-man tag team match, which I didn't even know was on there, which apparently was the system, which consisted of Moose in his second match, because JDC had travel issues, I believe, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, okay, taking on the Rascals and Ace Austin, who was with Sean Waltman. So, the Rascals and Ace Austin, they won, because Zachary Wentz pinned the X Division champion Moose, so maybe it'll have like a title match in the future, because people seem to like to pin Moose when the title's not on the line. I don't understand it. Yeah, I know. Sean Waltman got involved because Alicia Edwards was going to slap him, and he was like, no, I'll give you an X Factor instead. Did a few kicks and that, a few Bronco Busters off everyone. And yeah, it's just a normal six-man tag. Nothing fantastic, nothing terrible. I enjoyed watching it. I don't know if everyone else would. I suppose it depends on what you like. Then we had Steve Macklin retaining the new International Championship versus Eric Young. Obviously, I mean, his men tried to get involved and you know how it is. But he's like, no, I'll take you out first. So he won because Eric Young went for a pile driver, I believe, and then he countered it into some weird pin. Anyone could have kicked out of that, but yeah, Eric's like, here mate, here's my leg. Hold my leg so it's easier for you to pin me and part of me to kick out. I would. Then obviously, after he won, he got attacked by Eric Young and his two friends. I don't know their name. I don't really care about their name, to be honest. And he starts like hanging him with like a chain over the rope. And I was like, ooh, that looks horrible. Yeah, just I thought it was an okay match. They've done better. They've done worse. Yeah, it's not going to end though, is it? Because obviously attacks him with a chain. So it'll be another match and then another match and then another match. I'm sure these two have been fighting since like 2018. Just end it. Then we go on to the Falls Count Anywhere match. This one, for some reason, deserved to have a video package. The others didn't, and a very long entrance. Like the X Division Championship, the music didn't even end, and the other people started walking out. It's like, oh, okay. Mark Santana defeating Mustafa Ali. So he won because Mustafa Ali went for to hit him with a baseball barbed wire bat. He caught it, which is pretty stupid. And he goes, I'm guessing it's his finisher, like a lariat, sort of like turnaround clothesline, which did look brutal. But the match was good though, because you had Tasha Steelz being put through a table by Mike Santana from the apron to the outside. I thought that looks good. Okay, Mike Santana also getting hit in the face with a barbed wire baseball bat. Mustafa Ali doing like a coast to coast, but on the apron to the outside. That looked good. The 450 from Mustafa Ali, from the top rope to the outside, that looked good. All of it looked good, but they did like a weird superplex from the top of the steps that were standing up. It was only about like that much bigger. They made it seem like it was much worse, but he did go for a table. But, you know, after all that, he won with a clothesline. Yeah, wrestling for you. Then we go on to the triple main event, which makes no sense because the main event is the last match. But they want to call it that. It's great. You had Masha Slamovich versus Tessa Blanchard for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Masha Slamovich retained. I liked this match. Okay, you had Tessa hitting the buzzsaw, Masha still kicking out of it. Okay. But what I liked though was the very ending, because if I remember correctly, because I'm trying to remember everything, is Masha went for a knee. Not physically a knee, but like went for like a running knee, even though she had a bad leg, must have been her other leg. And because Tessa kicked out of it, she's like, okay, you've kicked out of my move now, I'm going to go for an armbar. Armbar locked in by Masha, Tessa taps out. Yeah, I do actually like this match, probably one of my favourite matches on the night. So it's worth a watch. I think I predicted every single match right so far. Go me, except for the one I didn't predict because I didn't know. Yeah, and then we had Nick and Ryan Nemeth walking in as the TNA Tag Team Champions because they stole it from the Hardy compound, but they weren't the champions, versus the Hardys, who were the champions, who didn't have the championship. Very confusing. It's literally just, it's what you expect. Okay, I predicted that Nick and Ryan were going to win. That was just a lucky guess. They won because Matt Hardy went to get a chair and do a move on, I think it was Ryan, but then he countered it and he got put through the chair, onto the chair. Jeff Hardy got low blowed by Nick and Ryan came in for the pinfall, so obviously it's him saying he won the match. But it's just the usual match where obviously the heels are trying to cheat, the babyfaces are trying to be good, but when the babyfaces try and cheat, it's good because they're trying to defeat the... Yeah, just basically what you expect it to be. It's not a great match, it's not a terrible match. You can tell the Hardys are getting older now because they are, like everyone else in the world. But you know what I'm trying to say. Then we go on to the main event match, the triple threat match for the TNA World Championship. Ethan Page versus Frankie Kazarian, who was your Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, versus Joe Hendry. Now on commentary, they explained why Joe Hendry wasn't wearing the actual tape on his shoulder, because I did ask the question, not personally, they weren't answering me personally. Why he didn't wear it at WrestleMania? And oh, because it's like a target, that's why he didn't wear it at WrestleMania, because he didn't want Randy Orton to target his shoulder. But he wears it for a title match, so everyone else can target it. Or is it because they knew about it and Randy didn't, but how did they know Randy didn't know? Just, yeah, make it make sense. So, a lot of good moves, everyone's always involved, back and forth, everyone's hitting everything. Ethan Page hits a cutter, thinking he's going to win like Randy Orton did, but not Randy Orton, mate, and it's not the RKO, so Joe Hendry kicks out. You've got Joe Hendry taking out Frankie Kazarian by doing an AA through the table. He gets obliterated, shattered to pieces. So the very end of it is just down to Ethan Page and Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry wins by hitting the standing ovation, which is his version of the chokeslam, onto Ethan Page. Okay, so the triple threat matches that we've seen recently, like Io Sky, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, okay, it wasn't as good as that. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins wasn't as good as that. And the Stand and Deliver triple threat match between Javon Evans, Obafemi and Trick Williams, it wasn't as good as that, but it was still good. Definitely worth the watch. I'm not comparing it to those ones, I'm just saying, go into it without trying to compare it to other matches, see if you like it. I personally enjoyed it. It was a little bit short for my liking, I prefer it to be a little bit longer, but maybe they ran out of time, I don't know. But it wasn't over there. Joe Hendry was celebrating, then Trick Williams comes out. I believe this is the first time he's been in TNA. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. Even as like an NXT star. Comes out, kicks Joe Hendry in the face. I mean, then he hits the trick shot, because obviously Joe Hendry turned up in NXT. He's like, okay, you're doing my show, I'll turn up in your show. Picks up the TNA title, looks at it, says, seems quite interesting. Puts it in Joe Hendry. So are we going to see Trick Williams versus Joe Hendry at the next pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call it? We'll have to wait and see. But all in all, I enjoyed this pay-per-view. I do think it was better than the previous one they did. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you thought of it. If I've missed anything. I mean, I didn't do the countdown show. I just didn't want to. Didn't watch it. I was trying to do everything else. But anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.